The road stretched out in the dim moonlight, surrounded by empty fields that seemed to stretch into infinity. It was a perfect night for filming, and Jake led the group with his unshakable confidence. He had the kind of charisma that made it hard to disagree with his ideas, no matter how crazy they were. Beside him were Mia, always focused on her detailed plans, Kevin, the technician who had mastered all the equipment, and Sam, the rookie who watched everything silently, trying to hide his mix of fascination and nervousness. The plan that night was simple but bold: to simulate a robbery on an isolated road and capture the whole thing on video. Jake was sure it would attract the attention of the internet. The group worked together, setting up a fake barricade on the asphalt and adjusting the cameras to ensure the best angles. Kevin set up the equipment with precision, while Mia reviewed every detail of the improvised script. Sam, however, felt a growing weight in his chest, as if something was about to go wrong. The first attempt went exactly as planned. A car slowed down as it hit the barricade, and Jake, wearing a ski mask, emerged from the shadows, screaming and banging on the window with a baseball bat. The driver, visibly terrified, reversed the car and fled. Kevin filmed the entire thing from a strategic angle, ensuring that every moment was captured clearly. Once they reviewed the footage, the group celebrated their success. The video was quickly edited, with dramatic sound effects and precise cuts, and published that same night. The next few hours brought a mix of euphoria and anxiety. Views soared, accompanied by comments that ranged from excitement to horror. Phrases like, "Is this real?" and "I would have died of fear" poured in, fueling Jake and his team's sense of triumph. For Sam, however, the experience had a different flavor. He couldn't shake the feeling that they were crossing a dangerous line. The next morning, the group reconvened to plan the next video. The excitement was palpable. Mia suggested a scarier approach, involving a staged chase, while Kevin proposed using drones to capture even more striking footage. Jake, however, had bolder plans. He wanted to create something truly unforgettable, something that would propel the group to unprecedented levels of fame. Sam remained silent, reflecting on the deserted road that seemed increasingly threatening. He knew he was at the point of no return. While the others laughed and planned, a small voice inside him insisted that this would not end well. The feeling that something dark was coming would not leave him, but he did not have the courage to face his companions or his own desire to belong to this group that seemed invincible. The daylight brought a deceptive calm to the deserted road, but the group was far from resting. The success of the previous video was fueling their ambitions. Jake, now even more confident, led with ever bolder ideas. Mia, as always, organized everything with cool efficiency, while Kevin adjusted his equipment with an almost obsessive enthusiasm. Sam, on the other hand, seemed increasingly out of place. The adrenaline of the previous night had given way to a nagging uneasiness, a feeling of foreboding that he could not ignore. The group's next idea was even riskier. They planned to stage a chase. The idea was simple. One car would be cornered by another while Kevin captured the whole thing with his new drone, providing spectacular aerial footage. Jake was convinced that the visual impact would guarantee an explosion of views. The plan, however, required more than skill. It required absolute control of the situation, something Sam doubted they really had. The preparation was tense. Kevin spent hours calibrating the drone, while Jake and Mia discussed the details of the stunt. When they finally arrived at night, the atmosphere was tense. The road they had chosen was even more isolated than the previous one, surrounded by trees that seemed to swallow the moonlight. Sam was once again relegated to the position of cameraman, but this time his discomfort was visible. He knew something was not right. The scene began as planned. Jake, driving one of the cars, sped up behind a passing vehicle, forcing it to swerve to the side of the road. Kevin maneuvered the drone masterfully, capturing stunning images from above. Mia, always attentive to detail, monitored everything from a portable monitor. But then, something unexpected happened. The driver of the trapped car lost control, and the vehicle veered off the road, flipping violently before coming to a stop upside down in a ditch. For a moment, there was absolute silence. The group, paralyzed, stared at the scene in horror. Jake was the first to react, jumping out of the car with a mixture of panic and urgency. Kevin tried to justify what had happened, saying it was just an accident. Mia, on the other hand, remained calm on the outside, but her eyes betrayed shock. Sam, watching everything closely, felt the weight of reality crash down on him. This was no longer a joke. Despite the disaster, Jake saw an opportunity. He suggested that they use the footage as part of a social experiment, transforming the incident into content. Mia, hesitant, eventually agreed, while Kevin began reviewing the footage. Sam, however, refused to participate. He knew that crossing that line meant abandoning any remaining shred of morality. The video was edited and published that same night. The repercussion was instantaneous, with millions of views in just a few hours. But while the group celebrated their success, Sam couldn't get the sound of the car flipping over and the sight of the unconscious driver out of his mind. He knew that this would not go without consequences. The fame gained from their previous videos had brought a dangerous kind of confidence to the group. Jake, fueled by the impressive numbers of likes and shares, believed they were on the right track to ultimate success. Mia continued to organize everything with her usual coolness, while Kevin dedicated himself to improving the recording techniques, investing in new equipment. However, Sam felt that the group was increasingly detached from reality. The new idea was macabre. Use an even more isolated road to set up a trap that simulated an extremely urgent situation, such as a serious accident. Jake wanted to test the limits of people's compassion and see how they would react when confronted with something that seemed authentic. They used mannequins to represent victims on the road and strategically positioned cameras to capture everything. Kevin, ever enthusiastic, installed a system of flashing lights to increase the realism. When night fell, the execution was eerily accurate. A car slowed down when it saw the mannequins and the lights, but before the driver could comprehend what was happening, Jake appeared, pretending to be injured. The driver's reaction was captured in detail by the cameras, showing his expression of shock and confusion before he fled. However, what the group didn't expect was that another car would arrive shortly after. This time, the driver didn't flee. He got out of the vehicle, shining a flashlight on the scene and calling for the police. Jake, taken by surprise, tried to get around the situation, but the man realized that something was wrong. Mia, always quick, ordered everyone to retreat, but Kevin hesitated, trying to save the equipment. The confusion that followed was chaotic. The sound of sirens approached and the group split up. Jake and Mia managed to escape with some of the equipment, while Kevin lost one of the drones in the rush. Sam, however, stood paralyzed, watching the man help a police officer examine the place. He knew that this was a sign that they were being tracked, and the idea of continuing with the group seemed more untenable than ever. Despite the setback, Jake didn't give up. He saw the incident as an opportunity to turn the story into something even more impactful. The decision to continue filming was no longer just about fame. It was about proving that they were untouchable, even when faced with the consequences. The chaos of the isolated highways was not enough to dissuade Jake and his group. Now, driven by the need to push his limits, Jake proposed something that surprised even Mia: a live event. He wanted to broadcast in real time a planned and carefully staged kidnapping. His intention was clear: to shock the audience in such a way that there would be no way to ignore the content. The preparations were meticulous. Mia organized the plan with impressive coolness, detailing each step. Kevin, despite being hesitant after the previous incidents, dedicated himself to setting up all the equipment necessary for the broadcast. Sam, on the other hand, saw his discomfort grow with each passing day. He knew that the situation was about to get completely out of control. On the night of the broadcast, the group chose an unsuspecting victim, a woman traveling alone in her car. Jake and Mia intercepted the vehicle on a deserted road, forcing her to stop. With strategically placed cameras, the group captured every moment, from the woman's despair to her failed attempt to escape. The live broadcast began with Jake announcing the spectacle, attracting thousands of viewers in a matter of minutes. As the event unfolded, Sam finally reached his breaking point. Observing the victim's desperation and Jake and Mia's increasing cruelty, he made a decision. Amid the chaos of the broadcast, Sam interrupted the show, revealing to the audience that it was all nothing more than a cruel crime disguised as entertainment. The revelation caused an immediate division among the viewers, with some horrified and others accusing Sam of spoiling the content. The situation escalated quickly. The police, alerted by viewers, tracked the group's location and arrived on the scene within minutes. Jake tried to maintain control, but the siege was inevitable. The broadcast was abruptly cut short when the authorities stormed the set, rescuing the victim and arresting those involved. Sam, despite having helped expose the group, was taken to the stand, while Jake and Mia faced serious charges. The group's story quickly spread, sparking a heated debate on social media. Some defended the creativity behind the videos, while others condemned their actions as unforgivable. Sam, for his part, knew that nothing justified what they had done. He had become an accomplice to a nightmare he would never forget. The days following the live event were marked by a whirlwind of news and speculation. Jake and Mia were formally charged with kidnapping, assault, and other crimes related to their quest for fame. Kevin, although less directly involved, faced prosecution for his technical role in the videos. Sam, for his part, was treated as a crucial witness, but also bore the burden of his own complicity. The kidnapping victim survived the trauma, but his story became part of a larger debate about the limits of attention-seeking in the digital age. Social media, which had once been the scene of the group's success, was now flooded with disgusting comments and calls for stricter regulations on online content. Sam, despite his cooperation with the authorities, could not escape his own conscience. He abandoned social media and distanced himself completely from any association with the group. However, the memories of those dark nights on the road haunted him. He had become a survivor of something that should never have happened. Meanwhile, rumors swirled that copies of the group's videos were still circulating on obscure internet forums, lending an aura of mystery and morbidity to the story. Some saw the group as twisted visionaries, while others saw them as a terrifying example of the dangers of the unbridled pursuit of fame. In the end, the story of Jake, Mia, Kevin, and Sam served as a grim reminder of the lengths some people will go to in order to be seen. And as Sam tried to rebuild his life away from the shadows, he knew the stain of what they had done would never completely disappear. Thank you for joining us on this chilling ride through the shadows of America's roads. If you crave more spine-tingling tales from the dark asphalt, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. Your support keeps these haunting stories alive. Stay tuned, because on these roads, the next nightmare is always just a mile away. Welcome to Asphalt Horror.